covering fascinating subjects, interesting talk, and boobs and fart jokes. AD on iHeartRadio.
Yeah, oh, let's go. Talking that mess, better act like you know. Oh, let's go tonight. Walk away, punk, yeah, bitch. That's right, I know this. You're nothing but a punk, bitch. You're nothing but a punk, bitch. So walk away, yeah, yeah.
Funkhouser, do you have that audio of the senator coming out casual as anything?
Yeah.
Let's do that. If you haven't heard this yet, this is a senator from Pennsylvania. And if there's a way to come out, if you're a public figure, I think I would have to point the finger at Jim Furlow. It was funny. Furlow is a funny name for a politician. But, yeah, I'd have to point the finger at Jim Furlow and point him out as like, hey, that's a guy that's doing it right. Let's hear how he came out. And this was when he was announcing a proposed change to the state's hate crime law in Pennsylvania.
No, I'm gay. I just never made an official declaration. I never felt I had to wear a billboard on my forehead. But I'm gay. Get over it. I love it. It's a great life. So, to those young people, and I don't expect to lose any respect.
Yeah. It was like an oh, by the way moment. It was an afterthought. It was like WWE superstar Darren Young. Remember him? He was at LAX. TMZ were following him around. They asked whether a gay wrestler could succeed in the WWE, and he was like, well, absolutely. Look at me. I'm a WWE superstar, and to be honest with you, I'll tell you right now, I'm gay. I'm happy. I'm very happy. That was it. That's how big of a deal should be made of it. Now, look, I'm not taking away from the people who consider this to be an incredible act of courage. I'm not saying it doesn't take courage. I'm not saying that because of people's preconceived notions, because of people's prejudices, that, you know, it doesn't take courage. But you want to lessen those feelings. You want to lessen those feelings? Yeah. Make it a casual part of something, an afterthought, because that's all it really is. It's an afterthought. It doesn't affect how well or not you do your job. And also, it'll probably make your life easier when coming out. Now, if you want to have a parade, if you want to do the whole big thing, if you want to be like, I'm here and there's nothing wrong with that, that's cool too. However you want to do it. But I gotta say, when you come out in sort of like that, oh, by the way, kind of way, it makes the incredibly small-minded people who have a problem with homosexuality, it makes them more comfortable, because they're like, it's that whole thing of like, oh, I don't need that in my face. Well, that way it's not in their face. That way it's just part of who you are. Does it affect anything? No. Oh, look. He's gay. He's been gay, and it's not that big a freaking deal. And if you want to forego the parade when you do decide to bring your sexuality to light, if you do decide to bring your sexuality to light, and you're a man that favors the tender romantic embrace, albeit a little bit hairy, of another man, then, you know, for doing it that way is probably going to lessen the divide between you and the unbelievably small-minded people who are definitely in the wrong, that would maybe have the knee-jerk reaction of holding your sexuality against you. I'm just saying. So looting has returned to Ferguson. Yeah. Looting has returned to Ferguson after the Michael Brown Memorial was burned to the ground. More than $100,000 worth of merchandise stolen from a beauty supply shop. Officers hit with rocks. 2 police cruisers damaged. Yep, this happened last night. Looters, hood rats, whatever you want to call them, they were out at it again in Ferguson. Angry because the makeshift Michael Brown Memorial was burned down. Likely from the candles that were lit around it, but that's neither here nor there. And because Now, I don't mean to be forcing circumstances upon the situation. Maybe somebody did hatefully burn down the Michael Brown Memorial, but it seems like it was accidentally burned down from the candles that were lit around it. So, what's the appropriate response? Not putting it out, starting over, and saying that's not cool. No, let's take this out on small local business owners. The group of, I'm going to go out on a limb and use the word savages in this particular instance because it's savage behavior in that it makes no sense. It makes no sense. It's animalistic behavior. You hurt me, I'm going to hurt someone else. There's no justice to it. There's no rhyme or reason to it. So this group of savages smashed windows, looted a beauty store. A beauty store. You know, where women get makeup and stuff. And they did it while chanting slogans like, burn it down, fight back. The owner of the beauty store, Beauty Town, said, this is the third time we've been hit. Said there's more than $100,000 in merchandise that had been stolen. You burned down our memorial to Michael Brown. Let's for a second assume the absolute worst in this whole situation. Let's go back to the very beginning of the whole situation. Let's assume that the cop Darren Wilson was a trigger-happy, crazy racist who shot an innocent boy in an act of racism and hate. Murdered an innocent boy in an act of racism and hate. And then for a second, let's assume that the innocent boy's memorial was burned down, not by candles that were lit around it, but let's assume for a second it burned down by other crazy racists that wanted that kid dead. Now, if all this turns out to be true, then absolutely 100 million %. The people screaming for justice, the people angry, the people hurt, the people who have been put upon, the people who are living in fear of their lives because there are trigger-happy, racist, murdering cops wandering the streets. They have every right to be scared, they have every right to be angry, and they have every right to demand justice, not only for the dead, but also for their community. They have every right to feel safe in their community and not like cops are the enemy who might pop them at any time. They're absolutely right to be angry in every single way that they're angry about all of that. Let's just assume for a second that that's the case, that this was an act of racist murder and hate. Even if all that was true, at no stage in the game does burning down a beauty store and stealing lipstick and cosmetics from it do anything to help anyone or make anything better in any way, shape, or form. The hell is the logic? That's why they're called savages when they do this sort of thing. That's why we as humans, when we lose what is reasonable in our minds, when we lose compassion for our fellow man, when we lose any sense of justice, when we descend to a complete level of animality where if you're not hurting someone, you're getting hurt. That's why it's savage to do what they did. Burn down a beauty supply store, a local business, someone just trying to make their way in the world, the same as everybody else, trying to pay their bills, trying to pay the rent on their store, trying to pay their mortgage, trying to feed their wife, feed their kids, feed whatever by having a beauty store. How is destroying that person's livelihood, taking the money out of their pocket, how does any of that make any sense? And how does any of it do anything to get justice for Michael Brown or to bring Darren Wilson to justice? Answer, it does not. 7 people were arrested last night. 4 officers were hit with rocks. 2 police cruisers were damaged. Shots were reportedly fired by protesters. At around 4 a.m. this morning, cops say somebody threw a Molotov cocktail at a towing company that contracts with the city of Ferguson. They haven't released any other details about the new investigation. Again, towing company guy, that I understand a little bit more. Someone comes to tow your car, you're going to be mad at him. Like I would imagine that people that tow, people that repossess stuff, they probably have more unwarranted acts of violence directed at them than pretty much any other profession. Doesn't excuse it, doesn't make it right, doesn't justify a Molotov cocktail. I wish I had some sort of light at the end of the tunnel with all of this to say, like, well, the answer to stop this behavior is not. It's just stupid. Don't do it. Don't lend your tacit approval to it in any way, shape, or form. Don't lend your tacit approval to stupid, savage actions like this. You know what they say about bullying in schools? The best way to stop a bully. The best way to stop a bully is not anything other than this. Saying, hey, that's not cool. It's weird. Statistics have boiled it down time and time again that what stops bullying is disapproval. You got this big hulking kid that's knocking around other kids, and you'd think what it would take would be punishment by a teacher. You'd think what it would take would be another hulking kid that happened to be a defender of the weak. No. It's verbal disagreement with what they're doing. Being like, hey man, don't do that. That's not cool. You're being a jerk. We don't think that's all right. So what can we do in the face of things like that? Look, we're not in Ferguson. We're not on the ground. But we can say things like, that's not cool. And this goes for any form of injustice that you see. Standing up and going, that's not cool. It's amazing how the truth sets you free. It's amazing the power of the truth. You know how people act like they know stuff that they don't know because they want to appear to be cool? Hey man, have you ever been to that restaurant? Oh, yeah, no, great, good fajitas there. Why? Just say you've never eaten there. Is it any good? I remember a friend of mine in Los Angeles once was like, I'm going out to dinner, taking my kid out. I was like, oh, where are you going? And he was like, you don't know. You don't know. And I was like, I've been to LA. I might know this restaurant. I've eaten at lots of restaurants in LA. And he named a restaurant. I was like, no, you're right. I don't know that. And he was like, wow. You actually told the truth. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, that restaurant doesn't exist. But 9 out of the 10 people I know would have pretended to go along with it to appear cool, and I would have known they were a loser. And this is a guy I've known for a long time. He's like, I have infinitely more respect for you for being truthful in that situation. The truth will set you free. There is incredible power in the truth. There's so many times people are willing to bend their truth, bend their morals to fit in, to lend tacit approval of things. Everything from fake restaurants, am I making sense here? All the way to rioting and ridiculously poor behavior and bullying, inappropriate behavior in the workplace, all the above. So much of it can be prevented by being truthful, by saying, I don't think that's cool. And you think the world is going to turn on you when you say, I don't think that's cool. I don't think that's true. I disagree with that. But they're not. The truth will set you free in so many situations.